We're on Terumot Perek Gimel Mishnah Chet, the 8th Mishnah of the 3rd chapter of Terumot. We're going to talk about kavanot, a person who has intention to do one thing and says something else. Says the Mishnah, Hamit kaven lomar truma ve'amar ma'aser. If you want to say, okay, this fruit is truma, but for some reason you said ma'aser. Ma'aser ve'amar truma. If you said this sa'ah should be ma'aser, and then, it turns out you said truma. You wanted to be ma'aser, you said truma. Similarly, vis-a-vis korbanot. You want to give a korban, you want to give a sacrifice, you say olah ve'amar shlamim. You have an intention, you want the animal that you're going to give to be an olah. For some reason, you're thinking about something else, you say shlamim. Shlamim ve'amar olah, or the opposite, if you want it to be a shlamim, you say olah. Or, in examples of neder. Person takes a neder, I swear she'eni nichlas l'bayit zeh. You're like, I can't stand this person, my neighbor, my cross the street neighbor, this person, I swear you intend to say she'eni, I will not enter into this house. Ve'amar lezeh, whatever, you end up saying the wrong house. She'eni nene lezeh ve'amar lezeh, you say I take a neder that I'm not going to have benefit from this guy, and you say to that guy, i.e. Frank, and you say John, or whatever. It doesn't mean anything, i.e. it's not halachically meaningful. It's if I take off this thing and I say this should be true, whatever. You didn't make it truma if you intended to be master and vis-a-vis. Why? Because you have to have piv v'libo shavin. Now it says the Bar Tanura, ad shu piv v'libo shavin. Why? Dichtiv motzas fatecha tishmor. You should guard that which comes out of your mouth. Uchtiv, and it says kol nediv lev, and a person has to be nediv lev. A person who gives truma is called the nediv lev, a person who is a giving heart. A person who gives a truma. And nediv lev is actually talking about the gift to the Mishkan, but that's neither here nor there. Says the Bar Tanura, so what does that mean? Haketzad, ba'inan, we require gomer b'libo, o motzi b'sfatav. You have to be gomer libo, you have to decide in your heart that's one that you want to give. And then you have to actually articulate it with your lips. So it's both the intention and the actualization and the recitation. Now it's interesting, the Kahati notes the Rambam. I'm going to bring you the Rambam because it's fascinating. The Rambam actually quotes us halacha. Hamit kavein lomar truma ve'amar maaser. If you wanted to give truma, say designate something as truma, you said maaser. Maaser ve'amar truma. Or you said you wanted to give maaser and you said truma. Lo amar klum ad shieh piv v'libo shavin. This is what we just saw in the Mishnah. Until your mouth and your heart are the same. I.e., what your mouth has to say, what your heart intends. So interesting that so often our mouth does not say what our heart intends. It's a very hard thing. But the Rambam adds something different. And I'm going to expound on this a little bit because I think it's worth discussing. Hifrish trumato truma b'machshavto v'lo hotzi b'safatav klum. What if, though, I didn't make a mistake? I didn't want it to be maaser and I said truma or truma I want maaser. In my heart, I designated truma. In my mind, if I designated truma in my thoughts, but I didn't say anything, harei zed truma. Then it is truma. Shne'emar v'nechshav lachem trumatchem, and it should be considered to you trumatchem. V'nechshav from the word lachshov. You think about it. B'machshava bilvad tiyat truma. With thought alone, something will be truma. I.e., this Mishnah does not say that a person's intentions, a kavanah, a thought, is not meaningful. What the Mishnah says is that if your kavanah and your mouth are not in unison, they're not talking to each other, then it's not meaningful. But the Rambam says, but if you did have intention, and even though you didn't say it, that is very meaningful. That's actually binding. I thought I would bring for you, I saw this year an unbelievable perush from the Orach Chaim on the Torah. So it's actually interesting. The Bar Tanura that we saw, let's go back to the Mishnah. He said it's based on the pasuk of Dvarim, Chav Gimel, Chav Daled, Motzas Fatecha Shishmor. That which comes out of your lips you shall guard. Okay? So the whole pasuk is the following. Motzas vatecha tishmor v'asita kasher nadarta l'Hashem Elokecha nidava asher dibarta b'picha. So it's a little bit of a repetitive pasuk. Actually, give a whole parsha shir on this. If you're interested, you can find it on YU Torah. Motzas vatecha tishmor v'asita. You should guard that which you came out of your mouth, and you shall do. V'asita kasher nadarta l'Hashem Elokecha nidava asher dibarta b'picha. This is the second perush in the. It should be like the second perush in the Orach Chaim. He says, "Why does it say asher dibarta b'picha in the end?" Of course, you said it. Yidbar derech omin b'zohar. That should be explained based on what they said in the Zohar. B'pasuk ki of hashamayim yolich et hakol. A little bird should take your voice. Listen carefully. This is a little bit freaky. I'll make it even bigger so you can follow. Okay. Let's move this over a little bit. The following: Ki kish'adam choshe b'da'ato machshava. When a person thinks in his mind a thought, i.e. he has an intention, Sifto tov devovot me'atzman belo yidiato. His mouth, his lips speak on their own without his knowledge. V'hu omro asher dibarta bepicha. And this is what it means when it says that what you said in your mouth. Ki agam shelo asa el b'chshava. Even if you didn't even, you only thought it. Picha diber ma shechashav. Your mouth said that what you thought. Ulized diktek lomar beficha. And that's why it says here beficha. Shim lo kein lam hutzoch lama beficha. If not, why would it say beficha? There's two types of speech. Speech you actually say, and speech that you intend to say. You thought about it, you intended it, but you didn't actually say it. Don't we know that dibur is bepeh? Ulidvarenu yavo anachon. Believe me, he says, what I'm telling you is the truth. V'rabotenu darshu akatuv ba'ofen acher. Chazal learned this pasuk in another way. Shivim panim l'Torah. It says Or HaChaim HaKadosh. You think that when you may have an intention, when you have an intent, you think to do something, there's not a commitment. There's a certain level of commitment in that as well. There's a beautiful, beautiful idea that the Rambam is backing up. Hifrish Terumah b'machshavto. Thoughts have meaning. Thoughts have power. We can control our thoughts. We do control our thoughts. And when we think to do something, we're actually doing something in the real world, even though we might not realize it. We'll stop here. That's long enough. Hope that was interesting. I find this whole idea of thinking and changing things fascinating. We'll stop here. If you have any comments or questions, as always, feel free to contact me at rspolter@gmail.com. We'll dedicate the learning to the memory of my father, Harav Simcha ben Yitzchak Kalman. Have a good day.